Welcome to Truth and Company Boxing Podcast. I'm your host, John the Truth Dioria, and today we have another segment of 20 random questions. And today's guest is all the way from Ireland, professional boxer Gary Spike O'Sullivan. How you doing, Gary?
Great, John. Yourself?
I'm wonderful. I appreciate you coming on. I know we've gone through a lot of stuff back and forth to get you on, and I'm happy that you're finally here.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm delighted to eventually have got to join you, John. My apologies about all the, the family stuff, the kids, bringing the kids to football games. And
Hey, it's
whatnot.
life, man. It's life.
Yeah,
You can't ever replace the memories with your kids, but you can always come on a podcast at a different time. So
yeah. I appreciate your attitude. It was great all along, and eventually, I'm delighted to join you eventually.
So, all right. First off, some fans might be wondering, I'm wondering this too before we start the 20 random questions. So, where did the nickname Spike come from?
You know what? I get asked that quite frequently, and it's just so my father was in the army, and when I was in the maternal unit, when I was just a raw baby, my dad's friend called up to the hospital, and he called me like for some reason I don't know why. I never did know. He's like, look at baby Spike, and my mother and father just kind of stuck. I was Chris, I was Chris and Gary, but like they they just called me Spike, and it stuck forever, and I'm still Spike nearly 40 years later. So there's no big story to run there. It's
Oh,
just
that's
like,
good to know. I mean, no, it's an interesting story. A lot of boxing fans probably have no idea. They think it's a boxing name.
yeah, I think a lot of people do think that it was like I tried to come up with this catchy name or something like that, or I created as a pro boxer or something, but it was nothing like that. I've been called it like I don't know, since a day or two old,
Well, because
before I
when
left.
when you see you on TV and they see you in interviews, and like now on my bottom of my screen, I put it in there too. So they always put it in there with your name. So I guess that's why everybody just assumed it's part of your boxing name.
Yeah, my mother and father call me Spike. Everybody calls me Spike. My mother-in-law, everybody. Uh, but like, it's not my official name really. It is my kind of fighting name, but you know what? It was my coach, Packy Collins. He asked me my name when he met me back in 2007. I said like Spike, but he said, "Surely that's not your actual name, is it?" I said, "Well, it's my nickname, and that's what everybody calls me. Like I'm telling you right now." And he said, "What's your real name?" I said, "Gary." So he was the one that actually said, "Look, we put your fight name as Gary Spike O'Sullivan." I was like, "Okay, cool." So he went with that, and it's just that stuck too. You know.
Okay, but you don't have a different boxing nickname though, do you?
No, no, that's it. It
No,
just
that's it. Okay.
yeah,
So are you ready for these 20 random questions?
yeah. Far away, John.
All right. So, question one. So, a lot of people here in the states they might not know your background that well, except for the fact that you live in Ireland. So, question one. Tell me about your background and your upbringing a little bit, but not the boxing part. Just kind of growing up, and then we'll get to the boxing part.
Yeah, so I grew up in what's called Council Estate in Ireland, and I've got five brothers and one sister. My dad was in the army. My brothers are all boxed, they're all national champions as well as amateurs. So there was a lot of boxing in the family, and we just like to play all sports really, football and hurling. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but it's an Irish sport, really good sport, the best sport in the world in my opinion, actually. Super sport. You can look at it on YouTube, and it's an amazing sport. It's great athleticism. It's got everything really. It's a great sport. So yeah, I just grew up in Ireland, I guess, with a lot of siblings, and just been a very big sport enthusiast. And I didn't have too much interest in my education. I didn't like the classroom. I didn't like sitting down and reading books and writing and stuff. I always felt like I wanted to be physically active and just participate in sports.
So, what type of area did you grow up in with your family?
Yeah, it was quite a tough neighborhood. It was a council estate. It's for people that kind of don't have the money to buy a house, a private house. So government, like in Ireland, they've got these council estates, so people get put in there that can't afford it to buy a house. So you have to meet a certain amount of kids and stuff, such like that, to get the house, 3 bedroom houses or whatever. So there's a lot of kids in the neighborhood, and we all got kind of put in there at together around the same year in the early mid 80s, and it was a bit. We it took a long time to get to know each other, all the kids and families, and kind of, I guess, know, it gave me a good education to fighting as well. You know,
Okay. And question 2, how did you get involved in the sport of boxing?
My father boxed, and he introduced me to boxing when I was like 5 years of age. And I participated in loads and loads of different sports. Very big sports too. It's just I've had many sports, but I felt like I was quite good at most sports actually as well. I felt as though my father wanted me to box more than anything else, so that's why I kind of pursued boxing more so than anything else. Plus I used to watch all the fights in America growing up with my dad. They'd be on late at night here in Ireland. They could be 5 a.m. would be a regular occurrence. So I got to bed. I got to bed. My dad would get me up out of bed. Like he'd stay up watching all the undercard, but he'd wake me up because I was quite young, and I get up and watch the fights with him. So I used to watch Vander Holyfield. I used to love Vander Holyfield actually.
So are you the only one out of your siblings that ended up turning pro?
Yeah, I am. I'm the only guy went pro. Yeah, the kind of I didn't think I'd become a pro myself. I was actually doing a bit of coaching and amateur coaching, and myself, my brother, and my mother and father, we coached several kids in Cork and Ireland that had never boxed before to become a national champion in Ireland, which is quite a high standard here, the amateurs, and then, but I always had the kind of hunger. I always stayed training and I stayed a bit fit in the gym, and I wasn't fighting that much. I did an apprenticeship actually as a sheet metal worker, and I qualified as a metal worker. And I just kind of still had the desire to fight, so I kind of went back and had a few fights at the age of 22. And Aki Collins was actually based in America at the time, and he was looking for what was meant to be the best the best amateur around in Cork at the time, turned pro, and my name kind of cropped up, and they called me up and asked me would I be interested in turning pro, and I said I'd be delighted to do so. It had always been an ambition of mine to have a professional boxing match, so I was glad to just have that professional fight. I thought maybe my debut, maybe my only fight professionally in my career, but just kind of snowballed on, and one fight led to another and another and another, and here we are, 36 fights later, 17 years later.
Yeah, well, you've had a pretty interesting career, and you fought quite a few big names.
Yeah. I was just talking to a lad last night about that. Actually, my record is pretty decent. I got 31 wins, 5 losses, and they've all been world champions that have beaten me. So it's pretty good. Done all right.
Yeah, you've been pretty fortunate to be in the ring with some pretty big names, and whether you win or lose, you come to fight, man, and that's what I think. If people gravitate towards you as a fan, because you don't run around, you don't try to showboat, you don't do none of that. You get in there and you fight.
Yeah, I train hard. I always give my best shot. I always come to win. I'd never be the kind of guy to just show up for the payday. I'm very competitive.
You can clearly see that in every fight. You fight to the end.
Yeah, I try anyway. Yeah.
All right. Well, question 3: what boxers have inspired you in your career?
Steve Collins obviously was amazing because he beat who was my idol up until then, Chris Eubank, and I still love Chris Eubank Senior. I think he's a great guy, great fighter. I used to be like he's the one that really attracted me into boxing initially because I liked the what was then the WWF, now it's become what WWE, the wrestling, and I just love the showmanship of the wrestlers, the entertainment. And Chris Eubank Senior was of the boxers, he was the most entertaining. He had simply the best come to the ring, the Harley Davidson motorbikes and all that kind of stuff. I thought he was great. When Steve Collins beat him, he was pretty inspiring as an Irishman as well, to see an Irishman could go to such heights. I thought, it was actually the first professional boxing match I attended was Chris Eubank Senior against Steve Collins. I walked to that fight with my father and my brothers, and I was kind of hooked from that night on. I was kind of thinking, holy shit, I love to one day kind of that to be me. Vander Holyfield, I thought was great. He was very well conditioned. He used to beat the bigger guys, and compete with the likes of Riddick Bowe and obviously Mike Tyson and all these great fighters. I really liked him. Mickey Ward was another guy I thought he was great as well. Warrior. I know Mickey very well. Actually, in fact, funnily enough, I've got to meet all these guys now. And I have a lot of their phone numbers on my phone book, and it's a bit surreal, really. Something I never kind of expected would happen to me. I got to know all these guys. In recent times, I've found as well Bernard Hopkins pretty inspirational. He fought until 52. I'm 39 now, and I got a good connection to Bernard as well, having been with Golden Boy myself for a couple of years, and I got on quite well with him, and he was very complimentary to me and both my condition and my longevity prospects and stuff like that. And George Foreman as well, he became world champion at 45, so I look to that for inspiration to this day. I mean, I still got 6 years to catch up on him to become world champion. So it's possible.
Yeah, it is.
Gotta keep on believing.
That's funny that you mentioned Mickey. I didn't know that you guys were close like that. Mickey Ward is my all-time favorite fighter.
He hit in my corner in Madison Square Garden in 2014. I was quite. We had a good time, and we won the fight, and had some, and his brother Dickie as well. We went for some drinks after the fight. Me, Dickie, Mickey, my other coach Dave from Cork, my strength coach, and we had a fucking great night,
Okay, question 4. Do you have any hobbies outside the sport of boxing?
I'm always keeping very active. I go to the gym a lot. I guess that's kind of parcel of boxing. I like to do weights, and my hobbies, I guess, are bringing my kids to their sporting activities. I love that. It's one of my favorite things, and just encouraging them and just being with them all the time. And I play football pretty much every day in my garden with my kids as well. Like soccer.
Okay.
I suppose they're the hobbies I do like all the time. Yeah.
All right, question 5. Now I saw that you did a little bit of acting, and some of the boxing fans might not be aware of that. So do you enjoy acting in films, and will you pursue that more once your boxing career is over?
Maybe so, yeah. These things just came along, and I was glad to do them, and it's good to be on screen and be recorded, because I think in years to come when I'm gone, my kids could maybe watch some films that I was in. I think that'd be nice for them, So that's what I think is best about it. It's enjoyable. You get to meet some nice and interesting people as well in films, So yeah, it's something I'd like to do in the future, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Question 6. Do you have any boxing superstitions?
No, not really. I don't. No.
Okay. All right, question 7. What is something that your boxing fans don't know about you?
Jeez. Jeez. Good one. I can do French plaits and plaits in my daughter's hair. I don't think they would do that.
Okay.
I learned that from YouTube.
All right. All right, question 8. If you could have dinner with any 4 people in the world, dead or alive, celebrities, people from history, anybody, what 4 people would be at your table?
Jeez, I have to go Hugh Hefner anyway for one, definitely. Probably Muhammad Ali. Eric Cantona, this guy, soccer player from France. He used to play for Manchester United. Him, he's pretty good. And Roy Keane, I think Roy Keane as well. He's from Cork. Really good soccer player,
Okay. All right, question 9. Do you collect anything?
I'm a bit of a, what did I call him? A hoarder. I have a shed out the back full of shit. We got this store. I don't know if you have them in the States, called Lidl. Have you got them?
What's it called?
Lidl, Lidl.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so they got they got these aisles. I suppose they're a bit like a Walmart kind of. Maybe they've got these baskets, but they've got this great long fucking stretch of baskets, and each week they'd have different tools and all sorts of shit. You could get anything in them, like fucking sports materials, drills, chainsaws, shit like that, you know. And I spend every week, I kind of go there at least once or twice a week, and I walk up and down in these, and they'd be kind of like on offer. These that oil is kind of like little or like a huge chain in Europe, and they've got like fucking they buy things in bulk so they can afford to sell them cheaper, I guess. So I wind up in that oil, and I end up just fucking like filling this shed with shit. And I went with my kid actually recently. Ashley, she's 11, she's really smart. And I was like, I picked up this big axe, and she was like, "Dad, what are you doing?" I was like, you know, I might chop down some trees with that and make some wood for the fire. She was like, you're not going to do it. Just put it back. It's a waste of 20 quid. Like, you know, just leave it there. She talked me out of it anyway. She was like, "Sure, Dad, look at the shed is full of stuff already, and you don't even use it. They're all in boxes." So I don't collect anything in particular, but just a lot of fucking stuff that I don't need, you know.
All right. Question 10. If you could have a boxing match with any fighter in history, alive or dead, who'd your ultimate fight be against?
Oh jeez. Marvin Hagler.
Who?
Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Oh, okay.
I think he'd most likely beat me, but I got a good punch. You know, I'd have a chance. I could, you know, I'd always have a chance. You know, and you always got to believe you're going to win, and you can win. You can win. I got the power. I can win any fight, but like he was a hell of a fighter, and if I was going to get a hell of a beating, it'd be it'd be good to get a laugh in him. You know what I mean?
Okay. Question 11. What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh fucking hell! I remember actually I won a big fight in Quebec, Canada, in 2017, and like it's probably not weird to everybody else, I guess, or a lot of people anyway. But so we flew from Quebec to Boston to meet my promoter, Ken Casey of the Dropkick Murphys, and he brought us to this like really nice hotel and our restaurant, and he gave me like a raw oyster in the shell. Oh fucking hell! It was just like most disgusting thing I ever tasted. When we were drinking as well from the night before, I think we stayed up drinking all night because of the win, and I wasn't really in the mood for fucking oysters like or any shit like that. And I wanted a pint probably, and I nearly got sick from that. It's disgusting.
Okay. Question 12. So, do you ever get road rage? And if you do, how do you express it?
Yeah, I suppose I was in a kind of real life situation there once. A bit like I think there's an advertisement of Evander Holyfield. He gets out of his truck to some guy, and the guy's like, "Oh shit, you know, some guy's been honking his horn at who he doesn't. He's honking his horn at some Jeep, and he's like, he doesn't know who's in the Jeep." Next thing, Holyfield gets out, and he's like, "Oh shit, I fucked up here." A bit like that. Guy like he was excessively blowing his horn, like I think he was completely out of order. And I was like, "Okay, let's fucking go see this guy." So I got out of my car, and I was like, "What the fuck?" You know, he was like, "Oh fuck," you know, because I pretty recognizable because of my moustache, and I think most people would know me in Cork, and he was just kind of going, "Oh fuck," I was like, "You have a fucking problem," you know. He was like, "That's what I fucking drive on that," you know. Stop fucking honking your horn, you know.
So, I guess we know how you handle road rage. You get out of the car and confront them.
That's a very rare, you know, very rare. It was just like that, a one off, but like, you just reminded me of it.
Okay. Question 13. Have you ever had an incident where you almost died?
No, not really officially. I don't think. No.
Okay. Question 14. If you could box in a celebrity boxing match versus any actor or athlete, who would you want your opponent to be?
I think to fight Jake Paul, actually. You know, he's quite a big guy. He's not too bad, but I think I could take him out. You know, even though he's got a significant size advantage on me, but he's been beating up a few guys. You know, like Nate Diaz and these guys. I don't think they can box like I can box. So like I'd like to sit him on the seat of his pants, you know.
Okay. All right. Question 15. Who was the hardest puncher you've ever faced in the ring in a fight or sparring?
Oh, has to be David Lemieux by country mile by a long, long way. You know, he was the only guy to knock me down really properly. So him without doubt, and he like, you know, he concussed me proper. You know, he put me down. I got back up. I've never been down and didn't get back up. He, I admit to it. Like, you know, some guys wouldn't admit it, but he fucking got me good, and I got up. But the reality was, you know, I was proper fucking dazed, you know, and I was thinking, I think I watched back the video. I was standing steady, but it looked like fucking things were kind of going around. I was like, you know, I didn't have my equilibrium or whatever it was, my balance properly. And the referee, he made the right decision. You know, he waved the fight off, and there was a couple of my team were thinking, fucking hell, you know, he could have got on. He could have kept going. He was back on his feet. But the truth was, I might have looked all right, but I wasn't all right. The ref was the closest one to me. He was looking in my eyes, and you know, he was. I can't remember the ref's name, but he was. I guess he was probably an experienced guy, and he looked me in the eyes, and he knew, and he waved the fight off, and he made the right decision, you know, and that's just the truth, you know.
Okay.
He hits like fuck.
Question 16. Can you tell me an interesting story from your boxing career?
Jesus Christ. Well, I've had two films made about me, about my boxing career, you know. One of them, the first one was called The Mind of a Warrior, and some crowd in Hollywood, they bought it, and my very next fight, I think I was 16 or 17 fights on the field at the time. I was going to fight Billy Joe Saunders in my next fight, and he beat me. So I'm not sure exactly, but I'm just kind of think they must have just like fucked it away, you know. And then when they see I lost my very next fight, they just like discarded it. They're like, "Fuck, he's not going to make it." But they didn't know me personally, and they didn't know the resilience I have, and they obviously couldn't tell I was going to come back and have a good career afterwards. But anyway, that was the end of that film. The second film was called The Prize Fighter. It actually won the Film of the Year in Ireland in 2020. It was very successful. I went to the Film Awards actually with my partner, and I remember walking into the Film Awards, and one of the organisers came to me and was like a nice black tie event, and all like celebrities in Ireland were at it. And she said, "Look, have a speech ready in case you win the award." And I said to my partner, I said, "Looks like they're saying that to everybody." You know, I thought they were. And I just walked in, and when the films were being called out the award, I was up the bar, I had like 3 pints in my hand to bring down to the table. And the next thing, fucking hell, lo and behold, we won the fucking award. I just put the drinks down on the table. I walked up, I received the award, and I just said something along the lines. I can't remember exactly, but I just said, "Look, didn't expect to win it. Very grateful," or some shit like that. I was like, "Thanks very much. Hope you all have a great night." I walked back down, went to my table with the trophy, and the woman that had told me to have the speech ready, she came down to me. She said, "Did you really think you weren't going to win?" I said, "Well, it's pretty obvious I didn't. I had no speech ready." I said, like, "I didn't expect to win at all." She said, "It won like by miles on its own." It was like, you know,
That's pretty cool.
it was cool, man. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Right.
And you know, it's another thing. My kids were actually in that as well. You know, which my favorite part about it. My kids will get to see that when they're older, and when, you know, in years to come, when they get to my age and I'm fucking an old ass motherfucker in the retirement home, they'll be like, you know, they might if they watch, they might take me back out of the retirement home.
So are your kids old enough? Have they seen a lot of your fights?
Yeah, I try to, like, they do because they look at them on YouTube. You see, the fuckers, they're smart, and they're like, you know, I try to. I don't like them watching the fights, but they would smart me obviously, and they get them up on YouTube, and then they've seen all my fights. They've looked at them all, yeah, and all their
Okay.
friends, and you know.
So now, so just off the 20 questions, so like when their friends and stuff come over, they know that you've been on TV, know you're a professional boxer. Do you get a lot of their friends asking to take pictures with you and autographs and stuff?
I have done over the years, like, but all their friends are used to me, and I play football with all their friends in the garden, and I go to all their football games. I watch all their friends know me really well, and I go to all their sports events. So I support them all. I know them all. They're like fucking really nice kids, and yeah, but they all know me, and I'm always doing stuff with their friends and bringing them to these whatever
Okay.
amusements and stuff.
All right. Question 17. Who was your favorite opponent to fight?
Um, a come forward opponent, definitely not a southpaw. Anyway, I hate southpaws. I fought Billy Joe Saunders and Erzlan Lara. I hate those guys. Not don't hate them, but their boxing style. I like a come forward fighter, maybe a little bit taller than myself.
No. I mean, out of your opponents that you fought, who has been your favorite opponent?
As in a person or as in
Yeah.
stylistically.
No, yeah, as a person.
Look at the Jesus Christ, that's a hard one. There's very a lot of them very nice. I said Nick Quigley was a really nice guy. He's from Liverpool. We yeah, I really liked him. But I got a lot of respect. I got respect for all of them. I didn't get to know them all very well, but I keep in contact with a few of them. Antoine Douglas, the guy beat Quebec, actually, I still keep in contact with him, and Nick Quigley now and again. Not on a very frequent basis, but you know, uh, I got respect from all. And but Nick Quigley, he was a hell of a nice guy.
Okay.
Lots of fighters.
Question. Oh, go ahead.
Lots of fighters there. I've found the vast majority of boxers. Kind of box for so long. They can be very nice people, I think.
All right. Question 18. If you could be any bird, what bird would you be?
An eagle, I guess.
Question 19. What's something you are absolutely afraid of?
Snakes. Don't like snakes. When I was young, actually, I got really high temperatures,
Okay.
and
All right.
I got.
Last question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, say what you're gonna say.
When I was a kid, I got like really high temperatures, and I was hallucinating that there was snakes like fucking wrapping around me and shit. So I've had a fear of snakes since I was really young. I was hallucinating as I was like delirious from the heat I went to, and I was just always had a fear of snakes basically. And I think as well they're faster than a human as well, and they're like if you're not afraid of them, and they can bite you and kill you like very easy. The most venomous ones, and they're too quick. So they're basically a bit too much for any human. Like you can't beat them really, can you?
No.
So a bit afraid of them. Yeah.
All right. Question 20. This is your last question. Why do you box?
I loved it as a kid, and it felt good, and it was good. It was a great workout, you feel great after working out doing it. And it feels good to be able to punch the punch bag and stuff like that, and competing is competitiveness. I'm a competitive guy as well, I guess. But these days, it's my job, and it's to provide for my children, and I suppose I'm creating a bit of a legacy as well with my career now. I'm not overly far off of being the Irish boxer that boxed for the longest of all time, and I feel good physically, and I feel as though I can achieve that. I can box for maybe another just over 3 years. I'll be the longest Irish professional boxer in history, and so yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking time to come on and do the random 20 questions. If there's anything you want to say to sponsors or to your fans or anything before we end the show, go ahead.
Well, all these people have helped me with sponsorship over the years. I'm very grateful to all those. Of course, Conal Thomas has been there since very day one in 2008 and 2007 even. Mike McCormick as well has been really good to me, and everybody that's been involved in my career, and all the fans as well that have supported me. I'm obviously very grateful to all of them. Like it's been great. I've had amazing support over the years, and still continue to do so actually, and it's pretty cool, and I'm very appreciative of it. Like it means so much to me, a lot more than probably I can put into words, I guess. And very grateful for it. Something I never kind of get used to. really, but I've always been very grateful, and I always will be,
All right, and hold on. And with that, the truth has spoken.